Hi, my name is Vivi Stutz. I'm a licensed mental health counselor in Washington State, hopefully soon in California. And I work in my private practice called Phoenix Rises Counseling. And today I want to address one of my pet peeves. It grieves me that I so often find articles on the internet that write bad reviews about EMDR. So since I'm a trauma therapist, of course, I practice EMDR. There are two scientifically validated trauma treatments currently in the US. That's either trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy or EMDR. If you don't know yet what EMDR is, just keep listening. I will be talking about it. But it's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So these are the two recognized trauma treatments in the US. And I find these articles on the internet that say why EMDR doesn't work for everyone, or why I had a horrible experience with it, or why you shouldn't do it. I find a lot of these. And so for me, the logic, knowing that EMDR is it's a scientifically proven treatment. It's like, let's say you have a car issue. The engine is steaming and you really don't know what to do about it. And so you take it to a car mechanic and they probably charge you a lot of money. And you take the car back from the mechanic and the engine isn't steaming anymore, but the engine is sputtering and your car stalls and the problem is worse than before. And so what are you going to do now? Is the argument going to be, oh, I had a problem with my car and I took it to a car mechanic and that car mechanic just sucked. I will never go back to a car mechanic in my entire life. Well, good luck. Most likely, I hope so. You're not going to do that, and you're going to think, oh, well, if this car mechanic couldn't fix the problem, maybe the car mechanic wasn't that good, or he just had an argument with his wife, or she had a really bad day, whatever happened to the car mechanic. But you're not going to say, I will never go to a car mechanic again, or car mechanics are bad, or I don't believe in car mechanics. Like, no, you're probably going to go and find a different car mechanic who might be able to fix the problem. And that's the same with EMDR. EMDR is amazing. I have been using it I'm in my 5th year, I believe. It's amazing. And I just want to bust the myth about it a little bit and also provide more education about it, of course. But just think about it, if you or anyone or an article that you're reading is describing a bad experience with an EMDR therapist, just think about it like a car mechanic. There are many different therapists. And I, in my possible arrogance, and I might sound like I'm full of myself, I am EMDR certified. So I pursued the full certification for EMDR. I didn't just take one weekend of training. It took me 2 years to be fully certified. And so I believe that EMDR, because it's very complex, and it's very difficult to do as a therapist. So I think that if you didn't have a good experience with an EMDR therapist or with EMDR, to just maybe consider that therapist maybe was new to it, maybe only had a weekend training. It sounds awful to say that about other therapists, and I don't mean to beat anyone up here, but it's really complex to do. And I recommend that you look at emdria.com at the website for EMDR, EMDRIA, and you search for certified EMDR certified therapists. They have more training, and it really is a difficult thing. You don't want to work with somebody who only has a very basic training. And if you had a bad experience with EMDR, again, it is complicated to do. It's a lifelong learning process. The therapist should get a lot of education lifelong and have really good mentors, experienced mentors that advise the therapist in the cases. And I personally wouldn't go to anyone else. And so that's not to beat up on my colleagues, but just to speak up against the articles against EMDR. People who had a bad experience, maybe the preparation process wasn't long enough, the resourcing process wasn't long enough. Maybe they got stuck. That's possible. But there are very well-educated therapists who are working on it constantly and learning and educating themselves, and they just have more skills. So I will be talking more about EMDR and explaining it, but EMDR is amazing. And I just quickly, before my phone cuts me off again, want to share one experience I had with EMDR. And it was actually my first experience. And it happened in a training. I was in a weekend training, never had EMDR therapy in my life, only brain spotting. But I read about it and I was convinced that this was going to be good. And so I was matched with a practice partner, and we tried to get through that process of working with each other and reading from the script, trying to get it right. And so I processed a traumatic experience I had. And then after the class that night, I was standing in the bathroom next to my husband brushing my teeth. And I noticed that as I was standing next to him, I had no anxiety in my body. I had no anxiety standing next to another person. And the thing is, I didn't even know I had anxiety standing next to another person because that was my normal. But all of a sudden it was gone, and I had this profound sense of peace and safety standing next to my husband after one session in a training. And that feeling never left me. It was this one session that I did, practice session, and it changed how I feel in my body and in myself when I stand next to another human being. That's how powerful it was for me. And I see the profound transformations in my clients that sometimes bring tears to my eyes, because I think, how could they ever get over it? And they do. Just consider this for your healing. Your life is important. You're important. You matter. Take care.